Let's fire up a little bit of baseball nuggets. Now, I wanted to go through this, and I've actually wanted to have this conversation for a while because there's a couple of different facets to this, but they asked managers across Major League Baseball some of the things they liked and didn't like, and I wanted to get y'all's opinion on a couple of things down the road, and it starts with, if you were commissioner for a day, what is the one change you would make to Major League Baseball? And the Orioles manager said, that's a great question. I wouldn't make any change. I love the game the way it is. All right. That's great. But we'll go to other people to get more real answers. But if there was one thing that you could change about Major League Baseball, what would it be? The fan text, they have some feisty thoughts already from the 940. If I were MLB commissioner, I would move the deferred money, and you can defer money, but it still counts against your cap for the year that they're paying you from the 817. If I was the MLB commissioner for a day, I'd strip the Astros of the World Series, make it final, no takebacks. I like the idea that you have this stamp that says like no takebacks on that. All right, for y'all, is there one change you would make, or I can give you more managers' opinions?
It's tough because I feel like they've done a good job the past few years of adapting and adding some stuff that I think was polarizing at first, but people kind of shifted quickly once they realized, hey, this is actually improving the pace of play.
Yeah, most everybody is on board, I feel like now. Sorry, Derek Holland, I know you're not. About the pitch clock and stuff.
Yeah, some of the purists are still out there, and I respect that thought process, but it's a business at the end of the day. They're trying to market to the current generation, and the current generation has the attention span of about 3 seconds. Yeah. You know, that's why highlight culture is everything. I'd say it's not a controversial one, maybe a little bit to some people, again, the purists, but I would expedite the ABS system and get the challenge.
Yes.
I don't want full automated ball and strike calling. I don't want 100% of it. I just want the challenge system. Yeah. So in big moments, we are not getting those big moments ruined by human decision that is just generally incorrect. And we've seen it happen too much. And you know what's unfortunate is, who was it, Pat Hoberg, that had the perfect game in the World Series and then he got busted for gambling or something. Yeah. So it's like our one shining night got busted for breaking the rules. So now I see more bad than I do good, and that's the nature of being an umpire or a referee. You never really hear about the good things they do. You hear about all the missed calls and stuff like that. But I like how they came up with the challenge system. I like having just 2 per game, and saying that it can't come from the dugout. It has to be the players on the field. I love that aspect, because there's already a debate, and you've seen it, and you talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago. In minor leagues, they're dealing with some teams having more technology than the others. So the access to replays and different angles and stuff, you could see, by a millimeter, that is a strike. You need to challenge, and the dugout says it. Just let the players call it on the field. And I think it's pretty simple. It's non-invasive, too. Only takes a few seconds. I like it.
Now, Warren Schaefer with the Rockies said every Monday off, just like in the minor leagues. And then he said that would facilitate for more people who want to do a 6-man rotation.
I like it.
And you can have a whole day of prep for the next week of opponents. But the hero we all need is Pat Murphy from the Milwaukee Brewers, because I'm going to read the beginning of his answer exactly how I believe he said it.
Oh, no.
Shadows? Eliminate shadows. Now, I'm going to expand with those 3 words. Shadows? Eliminate shadows. I hear what he's saying. It just is weird. What would you do if you were commissioner? I'd get rid of shadows. Well, I don't know if that is totally under the purview of the Major League Baseball commissionership, but I like it. And then he walked it through, and I think he makes good points. You can't have shadows because it's dangerous for the players, or at least devices to communicate for outfielders so they don't run in to each other. And especially since you've seen like what a step up in communications Major League Baseball has taken. So I think his answer is reasonable. I just like the beginning. Eliminate shadows. All right. Which opposing hitter would you least like to see up at bat with the game on the line? Would you like to go first, Alec, or do you want me to give you Skip Schumacher's answer?
Ooh, I want to hear Skip's first because I feel like my answer is the low-hanging fruit.
He said, I'm going to say Freddie Freeman. He hits righties, lefties, stays inside the baseball. He's a hitter. He uses the whole field. He swings at the right pitches. He'll take his walk, so you're not going to get him swinging outside the zone. He knows the zone, doesn't try to do too much, and he's going to put it in play. Obviously, Ohtani is the best hitter, but I don't want to see Freddie Freeman at the plate with the game on the line.
I love that because I think about the World Series heroics of Freddie Freeman, where he answered the bell every single time. And you hear that a lot about some of the veteran guys throughout the regular season, but I think you kind of take it for granted. The guys that have been around, and you hear like Eric and Matt and Jared on this station, they'll say, now this is a guy that knows the zone very well. And you hear that about some of the veteran players, and you're like, yeah. Freddie Freeman knows that strike zone. And so whenever you see him upset, kind of twirling his bat around when he's walking back to the dugout after a strikeout, it's because he knows he either missed an opportunity or it was wrong. And he's probably right. Another guy that comes to mind, Alex Bregman. He's a guy that really knows the strike zone, and he'll show it on his face when he's like, that was wrong, buddy. That was wrong. Freddie Freeman just answers the bell because he is smarter than most people on the field at any given time. And I think that's an underrated aspect of hitting in clutch situations, is just being smarter than the opponent.
Now, who is the pitcher who's not on your team that you would most like to hand the ball to with the season on the line?
Ooh. Couple names come up, but Paul Skeens is the obvious one.
I could see that.
Just because he has every asset in the book. There's a few that honestly do come to mind. Corbin Burns.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think the competitor that he is, he's not the blow you away kind of stuff guy like Paul Skeens, but that cat is just different. When you watch him pitch, there's a different intensity, yet calm on the mound. His presence, it seems like nobody's ever worried when he's on the mound. I want a guy that people just have the utmost peace and confidence knowing that he is getting handed the ball.
From the 214, well, this will have to do more with how the fans react. I would replace $1 hot dog day with $1 beer day. Again, you can blame fans from 40 years ago for messing up the cheap beer night. From the 817, fire Manfred. Man, that is a baller move. You're like, I'm making some real fundamental changes. And these two people, they didn't answer it exactly the same, but I think the idea is the same. From the 561, I would cork every bat for a day. And then another person from the 817, if I was commissioner, I would lift the ban on PEDs and get back to making what makes baseball great, roided out monsters with projectiles and blunt force weapons. Man. So we're getting there in different ways, but I think they both want to see that. Another person's suggestion, have at least 1 to 2 mascot games per day. Now, per season. Now, my question about that is, does that mean that the regular players have to be in mascot outfits to play? Do you have to take people from the organizations? Do these count as part of the standings? Because if so, I think the Savannah Bananas would definitely pick up that idea if they haven't already, but I am intrigued by that concept.
I like the idea of having celebrities and former players do the mascot game, so you have no idea who it is until after the game. Yes. Okay. And after the game, whatever the winning team, they get to unmask first.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh my gosh, why is, Ryan Reynolds out here hitting tanks to left field? I don't know.
See, I like the former player aspect, especially with the Rangers, because you could have had oh, well, that is clearly Julio Franco or Mickey Tettleton because of the very unique ways in which they held their bat. I feel like that would be very popular. Getting that through as a game that actually counts, I don't know if you can get that. But you know what? If you were commissioner for the day, well, I guess you have the autonomy to make that happen.
Make it work.